So now we've seen what these people have been up to. Why did they do it? Was it for the hard work, the long hours, the creative challenge? Or maybe it was just for money, or fame, even if it was only 15 metres of fame. But then again, maybe fame is a dirty word to these people.
It's not so much that I think it's a dirty word, but it's just not part of the motivation behind being involved in film. As a director, you're really unlikely, I guess, to get famous at all unless you're a Spielberg. The concept doesn't appeal, otherwise I'd be an actor.
Don't have any personal ambitions to be famous because I think it's a bit hollow.
It's not about trying to get famous and starting here. It's about starting here and doing more things that you love, and if you get known for it, then that's great.
You want the work you've done to find an audience, and you want that audience to be as big as is feasible, I suppose. And in that sense, I guess that's like fame.
And because we've put so much into it, you know, this feels like it's our film. As much as it is Strongman Pictures, it's also ours. You know, we put so much heart and soul into this thing that you know we'd like to see it out there and get some appreciation for it. You know.
Anyone who gets into any game because they think they're going to be some kind of superstar, it's got to be a nut job. Like anyone who gets into acting because they think they're going to be Nicole Kidman is basically in for a disappointment.
I don't want the whole fanaticism that surrounds famous people. I don't want to be stalked by paparazzi.
No.
Hey look, if I get a stalker out of this, bring it on, man.
I'd rather just have a job that I really, really enjoy that's pretty much local or interstate. I don't mind as long as I'm home most of the time. So,
if you're trying to get a TV show off the ground, really do your homework and find out what the stations are after to start with. Now with Single Rules, I knew it wasn't something that they'd done before. A new concept is something completely different, and that is the hardest to get off the ground.
We've gotten to the point where they're very happy to return our calls and return our emails and say, no, we don't want the show. They're rejecting us quite openly, which is fine. I mean, that's a step. I think it's not the step we wanted.
Some people will make community television shows because they just enjoy that field, and I think it's really good. I think it's fun on the journey. Just enjoy yourself. It's not much of a living. Even when I've been talking to executive producers of big production companies, they've said to me, there's not much money in it. And there isn't. If a show gets bought, there isn't much money in it. So I suppose it's an endeavour that you've really got to be passionate about, and you've got to be prepared to put in the hard yards in the meantime as well. Even work as a producer is completely freelance, so you can be without work for months and months and then, you know, have a month or two's work.
That's the reality, is that you can look on the surface successful because you're in the public eye and that sort of thing, but you're still driving cabs and working in restaurants and that sort of thing to pay your bills.
But if that's their main reason for becoming an actor, 99.9% of them are going to fall by the wayside and be waited for the rest of their life.
It looks glamorous, you know, to be up on a big screen, but it doesn't mean that you're living the high life. It's like Bruce Campbell, nobody knows him.
Who is Bruce Campbell? Bruce Campbell is the chin. He is the man.
Well, that's unfair to Bruce Campbell if he ever happens to see this interview, which he won't, but...
Well, he's an actor who appears in all kinds of movies, but primarily films like Evil Dead.
Someone might give it to him.
I might get my people to send him a...
Your people?
He's been in all the Spider-Man films.
Zombie fans and people like that love him, but the majority of film-going audiences wouldn't really know who he is.
Yeah.
It's a shame, in a way.
His name is Bruce. He has a movie coming out called My Name is Bruce.
Sorry, Bruce. I don't know why I'm bagging you out, but...
Bruce Campbell is a god. He is Ash from Evil Dead. He will always be Ash from Evil Dead.
The rewards for people being involved in this sort of thing, particularly in this country where there's not much of an industry, the rewards really need to be other than money or fame.
Develop a cult following which would last a lot longer than if I did Blurred, the Gold Coast movie about schoolies, which was a professional movie and cinema distribution. That wouldn't be immortal, you know what I mean? That will be forgotten about after a year.
I mean, I'd be quite happy to keep doing this sort of... If I had an independent income, I'd be quite happy to keep doing films and not be paid for them for the rest of my life. This is great.
As far as my plans for television goes, I'm really open to production or presenting. Just when I started doing production, presenting jobs came through the door. And I'm sure when I finish presenting jobs, production jobs will come through the door. You just got to have a lot of contacts, I think, and keep in contact with people.
Pay TV does open other doors, which is fantastic. And now you've got other channels within Optus and within Foxtel that are funding content. I just got contacted by MySpace just this week about working together on Forget the Rules. So people are starting to get that. But there's some leading stuff happening in the UK and in Canada, some great shows coming around and showing how you can really build your brand and make it a much more interesting experience for an audience today, and how audiences are willing to accept that and embrace that. That whole new area of interactivity that you can engage in now with audiences is another dimension of creativity. And the reason we're, Jonathan, we're doing this whole thing is because we don't want to be accountants and engineers. We want to have fun in this industry, creating stuff. And so this is a whole other playground to play in.
I'm really proud of the team that came together for Single Rules, and we did our best. If it doesn't get off the ground, it was a huge learning experience.
You wouldn't go into it for money or fame. It's not a business for the light-hearted. Or financially, it's a massive investment from a production company point of view at any level. It's a massive investment of time, massive investment of passion. You've got to invest all your talent into it, and the rewards are really like it's a gamble. You're rolling the dice. Like you put all your money on green or whatever, spin the roulette wheel around, and it's like more than likely you're not going to win, but it could land on green. You might win.